Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me here. This is Nathan, and today is Tuesday, October 22nd. And this is just going to be a quick review of today's price action in the futures markets. And I share my perspective on how I think about price, view price, trade price, uh, in hopes that it helps somebody out there. You know, clearly, we're just getting started with the YouTube channel and me sharing content and my thoughts and things of that nature. So, you know, I'm not expecting a lot of people to see my content at this point, and that's okay. But in a selfish way, and I've said this before, I like to review the price action of the markets, especially those that I trade, because it's helpful for me. Right? It helps me to get a bigger picture understanding of what happened throughout today in terms of price, and also helps me look towards tomorrow and the following trading sessions on what could potentially be setting up for the price action. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to be using two trading platforms today. I'm going to use TradingView, which is what you're looking at here on my screen, and then also we have Trade of 8 over here, where I execute trades as well. So let's go ahead and start out with the Nasdaq. I mostly trade the Nasdaq, but I would, if I had to put a label on myself as far as what I trade, indices, 99% indices, and then sometimes gold, sometimes crude oil. But the commodities are rare. I trade futures indexes. So the Nasdaq, the S&Ps, which is the ES, and also the YM, which is the Dow Jones Industrials Index. So what happened today in the Nasdaq? Let's go ahead and just zoom out here and go into a larger time frame, starting with the daily time frame. I'm going to really try to kind of zip through this. I just want to share my perspective on the markets right now and what's happening. So kind of looking back, right? So this is the daily chart. We have all-time highs up here at almost 21,000, right? We haven't been there in quite some time. That's back in July of this year. Now, obviously, we have a very, very, I would say extremely impactful event on the horizon. I believe we're 10 or 11 days out from the U.S. presidential election. And, it's funny. I've been seeing some data and analysis on historically what happens to the financial markets in the days and the weeks after the election and also leading up to the election. And it's the majority of moves have been to the downside in the days, weeks before and after the presidential election. So it's kind of something that's been on my mind. Some of you might feel the same way. It's kind of just lingering, right? So, and I feel like markets are definitely kind of, they had that the presidential election lingering as well. That's the narrative that is very, very big right now, and because it's really impactful to the financial markets, whatever the results are going to be. Anyways, with that being said, here's a daily chart of the Nasdaq. Now, you may have heard this before, and I do think this is very helpful when analyzing the markets. Start with a top-down analysis. Approach the markets, analyze the markets and the price action from the top, meaning a larger time frame. So in this case, we're starting with a daily time frame, and then we can kind of drill down into smaller time frames. Especially for day traders like myself, smaller time frames is where I execute most of my trades. But during the day, I am looking at an hourly time frame. I'm looking at a 4-hour time frame, and I do often look at the daily candle as well, just to kind of give me keep that larger term perspective top of mind. It's just helpful for me. That's just kind of how I look at things. I look at all those different time frames when I'm trading. So this is the daily chart. The green dots, if you've seen any of my other videos or content, you'll know the green is the 21 moving average, and then we have the 8 moving average, which is the blue dots right here. So it's kind of just it's a little bit of, I guess, like price on rails, right? The moving averages being the rails, like the way I think of it is, where is price in relation to these two important moving averages? Oftentimes price respects these moving averages, especially the 21 on the daily time frame. Like just looking at these days of price right here, right? We have twice, one right here. We had price that came down into the 21, bounced out. Actually, 3 times. No, maybe just 2 times. We had price come down here into the 21 and push out. We didn't quite get down here recently to the 21, but what stands out to me in these last few days, or this week rather, is that price has been closing on a daily time frame above the 21 and the 8 period moving average. So that's bullish, right? We're not exactly moving down, right? Like price is moving up. The moving averages here's the 21, here's the 8. They're sloped to the upside. So price is moving up. The ranges aren't too extreme, except here, last Tuesday we had this is 665 or 666. Let's go with 665 there to 259. So that is, however many 100-point range right there. That's the largest range we've had recently, other than going back to Tuesday, October 8th. That's another very, very large range. Anyways, just kind of sharing my thoughts on how I'm looking at this. So what do I see and how is this helpful information? What I see is price is trading above the 21. A few times we've come into the 21 and bounced out, and price is sloping to the upside on a daily chart, right? Here's the 21 again, and here's the 8. Sloping to the upside. But at the same time, I do see that we're starting to kind of flatten out, right? This is like, if you see my mouse here, this is where price is like really sloping up, right? Pushing up, and now it's kind of starting to flatten out. So that's just something that I notice. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and drop down into the hourly chart. All right. Hourly Nasdaq. What do I notice? Right away, I notice that we are range bound. Okay, after the big sell-off, this is last week on the 15th, we had a huge sell-off in tech, right? And then since then, we had one more push down, push up, but this is just a big old range. So, we have a range. Here it is. Pretty easy to see that range, right? We're right within here. And so as a range bound, if you are a range bound trader, great price action for you, right? We haven't really been pushing too hard one way or another, other than, today. Actually, today was a pretty good day to the upside. We kind of opened up. I believe we were up 30 points last night when markets opened, like the first hour or so. So that's 5 p.m. Central Time for the futures markets, up about 30 points or so, and then kind of just dropped down all night from there. And I think we opened up like 170 points down or something like that in the Nasdaq, and from there just wham. So we took out this high here, which was, I have to move my face. So this candle's high was 25.94.75. We took that out today. We took that high out today, which is something else that I noticed. So The high of today was 2602. So we breached 600, which is a significant level recently, right? Recently, meaning the last few weeks. That 20,600 is a significant level. And we got into the 600s today. So price kind of poked right, kind of pierced it, right? Pierced 600, came right back down and retraced. And then as you can see here, we retraced back into the 8-period moving average on an hourly chart and then pushed back up. So, and the reason why I mentioned that we touched the 8 is because it's helpful, right? The 8 moving average and the 21, they give us some levels. They help us see where some, key levels are. And when, price generally, oftentimes respects these moving averages. That's why I use them. And let's go ahead move into a 5-minute time frame here. 5-minute time frame is mostly what I watch during the day and what I take a lot of trades off of. Okay, so something that I look at here is I look at when the moving averages cross over each other. This is like a really simple kind of general strategy that I use. Is we have the 8-period moving average, we have the 21-period moving average. When the 8 crosses, under or below or above the 21, we go long or we go short. So as you can see, here's the morning time. This is pre-market right at 8 o'clock. Here's that first cross where we see the blue dots cross over the green dots. Good time to go long. Here's an arrow even that I built in here that shows us, hey, good time to go long. Anyways, the Nasdaq closed, I believe, just above, almost flat today. Closed almost flat today, if I remember that correctly. So that's the Nasdaq. This is the only market I'm going to go over today. The other thing I did want to show you, though, before we jump here is what I look at on as far as executing a lot of my trades. I execute a lot on Tradeovate, and then I'm also using TopStep X, their trading platform too, which is a really nice platform that uses the TradingView charts. So it's a cool platform. If you haven't checked that out or use TopStep, I encourage you to use TopStep X. It's a nice platform. All right, so 5-minute chart of the Nasdaq here. Again, this is what we just over here. Down here, this is what we just looked at. Let me blow this up a little bit for us. Okay, so here's that low of the day, 7:50 a.m. And here's where the moving average is crossed over. So this yellow line here is the VWAP. So when we have price come down, make a low, make a higher low, push up, indecision at 8:30. This is the opening 5-minute range right here, right? And then we push out of it and we close right at VWAP. With the way that this moving average, right, maybe we wait for kind of one more candle to start developing. When we see this close above VWAP, above the 8, above the 21, we have the 8 crossing over the 21. It's a good place to get long. It's a good place to get long. So I'm just kind of talking about that strategy again, right? You have the moving averages crossing over. We have price closing above VWAP. And also the way that price just all night. I'm looking for the open. Here's the open yesterday. So, price open up and then all night we're just, pushing to the downside, right? Other than this little push up, kind of bait some longs in here and then wham, take them out. But, knowing that we're inside this range, right? Here's something interesting too. And then I'll wrap up this review here. This is a range. And so, yesterday was crazy in the morning, right? We pushed way up and then all the way back down. And then price held this level here, which is right around 345, 350 area. pushed right back up. We come right back down to this area again, right? And we make a higher low. A higher low. So this price did not get as low as this. Even if you look here, right? I mean, this low is actually a tick or two above this low. Interesting, right? And we push out of it. We come back down to this level. We push out of it. So from here, 350, 360-ish, all the way up to 600, that's a really nice move. That's bullish. That's not bearish, obviously. So, we did retrace back today, but we ended up, I think, all around flat. Let's see. Let me just confirm how accurate that statement is. Yesterday, here's the open. Yeah. Okay. So, of course, I've got my handy dandy blue line on this chart that shows where we open. So we open at 25.36.50 and we close at 25.25.50. So just about flat. Great price action for day trading today in general. And then just because I had this open earlier, what I've been toying around with recently and getting, seeing how helpful it is for my trading personally, I've been looking into the Heikin-Nashi candle style as well, which smooths out the price. And then I have the ES open over here, and I look at the YM too. I did take a few longs on YM today. I think I was about 50% of my long YM trades. Saw this price developing down here, and then I saw that we just barely took out these lows right here on the YM, and it started to push up, and I went long. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hopefully this helps you. But if you have any comments or suggestions on what you'd like me to talk about in these videos, or mention, or share, or go more into depth on, I'm happy to listen and do that for you. But I appreciate you watching and hope you have a good night.